And we welcome you to this special edition of In the Circle Champ Series postgame show live after Texas beat up on Texas Tech 7-3, the final, and they're a win away from back-to-back national championships. Welcome, everybody. Eric Lopez here alongside Victor. How many years have we been doing this postgame show?
This is our sixth consecutive year recapping every game of the Champ Series immediately when the game goes final. And of course, Eric, we always like to have the guests to give us their in-depth analysis. And why don't you introduce our guest for tonight's Game 1 festivities?
Well, she's very fitting as we have her for the first time on this show. One of the best trash talkers in college softball history. Iowa State Cyclone alum and great. Somebody I don't talk to enough. One Leah Nelson, who joins us here. How you doing?
Hi, guys. Oh, I love that clapping effect. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for asking me to join because anytime I can talk about softball, it's a good day.
This is true. We haven't spoken since UCF beat Iowa State in a series. I don't know if there was a connection to that or not.
There was a reason for that, Eric.
Fair enough. We won't get into that. What we will get into is this game. And your thoughts here momentarily. Reminder, everybody, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast feed. We did have a Monday episode where we had Amanda Scarborough and Kevin Brown on the show, as well as Tori Tyson from Oklahoma City, which I was at, came back here, and evidently so did Texas Tech decide to leave Oklahoma City, I guess, because they punted on this game. I don't know what else to describe it. Texas wins 7-3. Texas Tech gets the early lead on the Maya Davis solo home run off Tegan Cavan, but Texas responds with 5 in the first, highlighted by the 2-run moot shot by Katie Stewart. And it was all she wrote. Jerry Glasgow decided it was pretty much a wrap, as he basically scratched Nyjah Kennedy in the game and was not going to be able to return, saving her for tomorrow. So, Leah, I just want your initial thoughts here. You watched the whole game. A few minutes here to digest. What was your overall takeaway from this game?
Yeah, going into this game, I was really hoping for a pitcher's duel. Those are my favorite types of games. But obviously we didn't see that. And I think, defense killed Texas Tech. Yeah, they gave up a couple home runs, but man, oh man, Texas had 5 infield hits. And that is the worst feeling for a team. It is so tough, and it wasn't how I wanted to, and I think Texas Tech kind of dug themselves in a bit of a hole.
Kind of expand on that. What did you see going wrong for Texas Tech defensively, or what Texas did right? It seemed to apply pressure on the Texas Tech defense.
I mean, Texas's speed is insane, but anytime a team scores 5 runs in the first inning, it's really hard to kind of get out of that mindset and get back to it. But I mean, Texas Tech has done it before. We've watched them score 8 runs with 2 outs and 2 strikes. So they weren't completely out of it, but you could kind of see it in their faces, and they were making silly mistakes. I know there was a left field bobble misread that ended up having Texas score 2. But it's just these plays that I know the Texas Tech players can make, but they were just making the wrong decisions. And that's not what we've seen this whole year. And it's something we shouldn't be seeing in the first game of the Champ Series.
I would concur. Go ahead, Vic. You got a question for Leah?
Yeah, Leah, I think the biggest thing is that after Texas Tech got that home run from Davis to jump ahead 1-0, Texas gets the bunt single from Henry, and then Katie Stewart once again goes yard, 4th straight game with the home run in Oklahoma City, the first player to ever do that. It just felt like Texas regained the momentum back as quickly as they lost it in the top of the first.
Yeah, I think as crazy as this might sound, Texas Tech getting up by 1, I think they kind of got back on their heels, like a little too comfortable, which seems crazy because in softball, you can never be comfortable with a 1-run lead, especially against a team like Texas, who is just so dominant. And so I was just surprised to see how they kind of felt a little laid back. And are we surprised Katie Stewart hit a home run? No. We knew it was going to happen, but to kind of let that get to them and then have, Texas come back and continue to score and them continue to make kind of mind mistakes in the field is just a little surprising to me.
Let's discuss the decision there. Jerry Glasgow decides to go with Caitlin Terry to start the game. She gets a quick hook, brings Nyjah in, pulls her, brings Samantha Lincoln, and I'm guessing what he'll say on the post-game press conference, and we'll try to carry that later in the show. He's going to, and I think he kind of told Holly Rowe a little bit. I got to be honest, I kind of flipped over to the NBA game because once I saw that move, it was like, this is a wrap. But he's going to tell you that he saved both of those arms for tomorrow in game 3. I think that's going to be his spin on this. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? What did you make of all those pitching decisions that Jerry Glasgow made today?
In my opinion, I just have a hard time saying you're going to save the arms for the second and third game because you've got to win the first game. You have to win the first game. It is just crucial. I forget the stat, but it was so many teams who win the first game win, the whole national championship. So it just kind of surprised me because with how confident Texas is playing, they're going to come out guns a-blazing game 2. So, Texas Tech is going to have to obviously give it their all. So, I don't know. It's a little frustrating. We're used to seeing Caitlin Terry and Nyjah going back and forth. And so, for Nyjah to be out, what inning was it? 3?
Yeah, she's got it. She came in the bottom of the first, and they got pulled before the third inning started for Samantha Lincoln. Look, Lincoln did her job. She quieted the Texas offense, but honestly, it was kind of too little too late. Let's take a look at Lincoln's numbers. She went 3 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, 66 pitches. Caitlin Terry only goes an inning and a third, 20 pitches. Nyjah goes an inning and a third, 23 pitches. It's one of those things, Eric, and we talked about this during the Champ Series preview show last night on D1 Softball, which you can go watch and listen again, how Jerry flips back and forth between Terry and Nyjah, almost cost them versus UCLA Sunday night. And I think it may have cost them tonight and potentially tomorrow because Texas, they're going to know Gutierrez in all likelihood in game 2. And if they get the lead, you're going to see Tegan Gavon come out and shut the door on a second straight national championship.
Look, clearly they're intimidated by Kavon. That you don't punt on that game, especially with that offense, unless you just don't have confidence you're going to score on Kavon. That's my takeaway, which blows me away, and that's a bad sign if Texas is already in your head, which I do wonder. And I think it's critical that Texas Tech gets off to a good start tomorrow because I think this can become mental between the two programs here. And I think that's a big – I've kind of been blown away by how Nyjah has sort of been treated here. Like we're acting like this is her and Terry are equals. Nyjah Kennedy's a former National Player of the Year. What are we doing? Like I said this last night. I understand in the regular season you want to limit her innings and all that. That makes sense. I just wonder if this, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that will be discussed, whether she was 100% healthy earlier in the year or not, and all that. I get all that. I just feel, Leah, I don't know what you think. I wonder if Nyjah's just not been able to adjust to the less workload. Like some pitchers just need the workload. And I found it interesting that her best game of the year came on Monday night after she had just pitched an hour before the game in relief of that game, and she pitched the night before, which means her workload was up. It's just fascinating to me that you're limiting how many times you want to use her in the post in this situation.
No, Eric, I'm so glad you brought that up because that was going to be my next question for the both of you was that she seems like she's pitching differently. And I wanted to hear kind of your guys' takes on what you've been seeing from Nyjah this year, because the Nyjah I remember, it's just a little different. And I know there's a lot of discourse on, if she's just not as confident this year, or if it's just a little, what's happening in Texas, like at Texas Tech. But it does seem different from when she was at Stanford and even from last year. I don't know if, she just is taking a little bit more of a break, if there is, like, if she's not feeling 100% or what it is, because truly, I think it just, we're seeing a different Nyjah than we've have in the past. So I'd love to kind of hear what you guys think as well about her.
I think that's fair. This has not been her best year. And again, they might know more. There might be more to the story than we led to believe. I know some people have talked about it. Some mileage is down and stuff, but
it's not Kennedy.
She just pitched it a 2-hit shutout against Alabama on Monday night, though.
Yeah.
And with respect to Caitlin Terry, she's not at her level. Nyjah has the experience in this level. Now, I will ask you both this, starting with you, Leah. Texas has had Nyjah's number. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily every time. They've beaten her. Even though Nyjah's had her moments, has pitched well in games. Do you think that played a factor psychologically in some of this stuff to perhaps avoid her facing Kavon, because Kavon has beaten her in head-to-head matchups? I just wonder, because they're going to need her to win this series. You're not going to win this series by pitching Caitlin Terry and Samantha Lincoln. I'm sorry. Not going to happen.
I think it could be kind of maybe they were trying to figure out something, how they can beat Texas. But like you said, you have to pitch her. And if I were the coach, which obviously there's a reason I'm not a Division I softball coach. If I was the coach, I'd put her out there and I just let her go to work. I think in this competitive, she's been here before. Again, we're talking about Nyjah. In this competitive environment, she does her best. And I think you put her against Kavon, and I think you put her in this environment, we could have seen a whole different game, in my opinion.
But let's think about this now. Tegan Gavon is now 6-0 versus Nyjah Kennedy. 6-0. She's giving up a total of
not all. In fairness, not all against Nyjah. It starts some games. Nyjah's hit some things like that. So let's be fair. It's not like it's a one-on-one matchup, but point taken. Tegan has done very well.
And the biggest thing about it, Eric, and we know this, seeing pictures throughout our time broadcasting and covering the game. Leah, the same thing as a player. Pitchers, once they get in their rhythm, they really are locked in. It's hard to get in a consistent flow when you're getting pulled every inning and a third, 2 innings. Almost bit them against UCLA on Sunday. I think it bit them tonight. And now you're asking Nyjah, with the season on the line once again, to beat a team that she hasn't been able to beat.
What do you make of that, Leah, with all the switches there as a player?
I give so much credit to them because I can't imagine. I can't speak from a pitching perspective, but I have been in a situation where I'll be in left field and then I get pulled and then I go into run and then I go into bunt and then I come. It's just a lot of and let me tell you, it is, like Victor said, it is so hard to get comfortable. It is so hard to get in a rhythm, or even in a hitting perspective, you start to figure out the pitches and then you get pulled and then you might have to go back. It's crazy. It's really difficult. So I can't even imagine going in for a couple innings, coming out and then having to go back in and stay locked in. Again, I would leave her in for way longer than what they're doing, but I'm not a Division I, college coach. So,
well, and listen, I agree with one of our chats. And folks, send your comments and chats in there. We'll read some of them and answer some of your questions. But I agree with Parker, who says she's earned the ball for a complete 7 innings tomorrow, unless she's getting absolutely rocked. I agree. I think, what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do if you start her? If she gives up an early run or two, you're going to pull her? What? No, you go with her. I just. And now, even here's the thing that I'm baffled by. And I'm sorry, we will move on to other topics in this.
We will.
But I'm just baffled. I'm really baffled by this. I really am baffled, Leah. If we did our whole podcast, I would probably be going on for a while here. But
yeah.
Okay, so your strategy is you start Terry, a different look, save Nyjah. Okay, game to win. But here's the problem now. To win this national championship, you're probably gonna have to pitch isn't back to back.
Right.
Which isn't that what you wanted to avoid?
Exactly, Eric. You hit the nail on the coffin. It just doesn't make sense. And especially with game 1, you want to win that game so badly. So I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around what happened tonight. It just seems a little crazy to me.
Vic, you want to make a case? Because me and Leah are baffled right now. Please.
Look here. I got nothing for y'all. Chad, if y'all got anything, if y'all can let us know, we would greatly appreciate that. Actually, Adam has said Terry got beat the heck up so fast. It must be demoralizing having your coach take you out when you can see runs, which every pitcher does.
That's also a great point, because it kind of seems like, whether this is what's happening or not, but it kind of seems like you make a mistake and you're getting taken out, which as an athlete is the worst feeling ever. Then you play scared. And when you play scared, bad things happen. So.
Well, and if I'm Terry, the one I'm more bothered by was the Sunday night UCLA game where she was rolling and gave up. Gave up the pinch hit home run to Suarez, but it was a solo shot. It's just wild to me. I almost feel like, because it worked in game 3 of the Florida series, it's almost like they feel like it could work all the time. And I think that's a bad deal. But let's talk Texas here. Because, Leah, in fairness, it's funny, even though they're in the SEC here in year 2, I feel like you and I have grown up with this Texas team.
It's true.
They were in this class, the freshmen, the players that are juniors now, and the Reese Atwoods, we saw them in the Big 12. They have, to me, it just impresses me, their demeanor all year. They have calm, cool, confident, been there, done that. And they don't seem fazed by anything, do you?
No, yeah, they are not fazed by a single thing. Honestly, like I'm rooting for Texas Tech in the sense of Big 12 team, of course. But deep down when I was texting you this, Eric, like I know Texas is going to win. Especially from what I saw tonight, there was not a flicker of nervousness or any airs. They just seemed like they're out there. They're playing insanely well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled out some crazy, crazy stuff tomorrow.
Which is why it's dangerous to just, to punt on this game, basically, and assume that you're going to beat them. If anything,
1,000%.
You're giving the champs even more fuel.
Exactly.
You're giving them more fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you can just beat us? Okay, we'll see about that. Katie Stewart, unbelievable. SEC Player of the Year, D1 softball first team All-American. Inexplicably, second team in the NFCA. What are we doing there? Like, somebody, seriously. Some people's votes need to be revoked there.
That makes a lot of sense.
I got to give credit to our friend Madison Shipman, who on the alternate broadcast called it, said, do not pitch to her. You do not pitch to her. And they pitched to her, and boy, she hit it a mile. What are you seeing from Katie Stewart here? Because she has taken her game to a different level where, going into this year, we always talked about Reese Atwood being the face of the offense, but Katie Stewart has become the face of this offense.
Yeah, you can't pitch to her. Literally cannot pitch to her. She's incredible. And what I really like about Katie Stewart is we saw her make a few errors the other night, and she kind of had a tough game. And again, that is really difficult to come back. Especially, I can't imagine, like, social media was kind of becoming a big thing when I was in college. I can't imagine playing on this big of a stage with the way social media is now. Just the things they were saying about her after that game, and for her to come back and just the home run she hit tonight was insane. So I mean, kudos to her. I just think she's an incredible player, and I'm excited to honestly see what she does tomorrow. But again, you can't pitch to her because she's gonna literally hit the ball millions of feet. The ball's probably still going.
And the crazy thing about it, Leah, is that Stewart's doing what she's doing, and they got Vivi Martinez, who didn't even play last year because of the knee injury before the season started. So she had to watch her team win the national championship, and she's getting into the party in game number one. And you referenced this, the infield and the speed for Texas, 5 infield hits tonight of their 10. If Texas Tech cannot make an adjustment, game 2 tomorrow, Texas is going to try and small ball their way to get runners on base, and then let Stewart and Atwood bring them home with the long ball.
No, exactly. That's softball 101. Because if I'm the coach, I'm giving them the bunt sign every time, because you're telling me that you've got slappers, but then you've also got people on the right side who can easily beat out an infield hit. Like, that's crazy. You get a person on first, and then here comes, the big chunk of the lineup who's just going to hit a homer. It's just everything's working for Texas. And we could be going in circles here. I'm just surprised the way Texas Tech handled tonight and what kind of the coach decided to do.
Mike White has told me since 2024, this is the type of offense he likes, a versatile power game, but also the short game. He doesn't like one-dimensional. And it took him a few years, he admitted, to build that at Texas like he had it in Oregon. He's got it rolling over here without question there. And I think it's a credit to what he's built there and that offense with his staff. And I think it's a credit to them. And tonight was an example of why he wants this, because clearly Texas in their scouting report, Leah, saw something there where they could expose Texas Tech defensively tonight with the short game, the way that they were playing the defense.
And they did expose them. Like, I was shocked. And like some of these, errors or even just miscues, I feel like we hadn't seen Texas Tech make those mistakes all year. And I know it's a big stage, but we have to remember Texas Tech has been here before. These players are elite athletes. Like a lot of girls are from the transfer portal. So it's nothing like new to them. So it's just kind of it's difficult. And obviously Texas capitalized on those mistakes, which is what you got to do.
No, it's a credit to them. Kristen Zaleski's is part of that short game offensively with Texas. You know, Steve Singleton got a lot of credit for the Texas offense. He's now at Cal as the head coach. And I'm not, he deserved his credit. But Aaron early one has come in and kind of fit in there. But Zaleski's been the constant there, and she teaches the short game where the others the rest. And I think it's been working. That roster is clicking. Credit to that staff. You played against Mike White at Texas, correct? What's it like playing a Mike White Texas team?
It is a blast. It is so fun. I think the Texas series when we were playing at Texas was one of my favorite softball memories because they are just so competitive, but I also think they bring out the best in the people that they play because they are just so fantastic and the fans are incredible. Everyone comes out to support Texas softball, but they're very strategic and they're hard to beat. We never beat them, and we were close a couple times, but they are really hard to beat because the second you score a couple runs, they're coming right back at you. So I'm just really impressed with them. Not to go back to the short game, but as a fellow bunter or a former bunter, it makes me really excited that, sometimes people watch softball and they're like, I want to be a home run hitter. You can literally make a huge difference by playing the short game. Because wouldn't you rather have, a multiple people on base and hit a home run than a solo shot? So it's just, I would, in that perspective, I was loving the game tonight. But as someone who wanted kind of Texas Tech to win, it was tough to watch.
I've been fascinated with what the move's going to be like going into tomorrow for game 2. Texas Tech in the same situation they were a year ago. Season on the line. Hoping Naja can bring you out of it. But the thing is, between last year and this year, I feel Texas is even more confident because they know, hey, we've done this before. We know what it's like to be a win away from the national championship. And I think one of the people in the chat brought this up. Parker, thank you very much. Texas gets to have the luxury of handling their pitching staff because you can see Satali Gutierrez get to start. Remember, she was the one who pitched 6 2/3 masterful innings on Monday to set the stage for that if necessary game where Caban shut down Tennessee and got them to tonight's championship series. So you go Gutierrez, where Texas Tech, you're forced to pitch Kennedy, and who knows, knowing Jerry, how short of a leash she will have to bring in Caitlin Terry and play that game of musical chairs again with your season on the line.
Texas gets to play relaxed tomorrow, which is, I think, scary, really scary, because some of their best softball comes when they're relaxed. But would it be crazy? Now, you guys can tell me I'm crazy. Would it be crazy to just start Caban? I mean, Texas Tech had a hard time with her tonight. Would it be crazy to just have them try to slam the door? Granted, I don't think that's going to happen because they have a little leeway because, they won tonight. But it could happen, and it could be a little difficult for Texas Tech tomorrow.
I'll say this. I don't know if he'll do that because he didn't do it last year. He didn't start her. That being said, I do think she's available and will come in. Like, it would not shock me if he tries to go by committee here. Let's say starts Gutierrez. Now, a lot of this too depends on how Gutierrez does.
True,
Gutierrez is rolling like she was against Tennessee, and I think he leaves her alone. But I could see a scenario where he starts Gutierrez. I wouldn't be shocked if he threw in Hannah Wells for a few batters. And if they have a lead late, 4th, 5th inning, I could see Caban coming in, even if maybe it's tied. Because, again, he's got the upper hand. He can do whatever he wants here.
He literally could.
Whereas Tech, it's got to throw they got to do whatever it takes to win the game. It's literally like last year all over again. The only difference is, I guess, if you're Jerry, that makes you feel better, is Naja is going to be fresher than last year because she did throw the complete game in game 1 last year. But you're going to have to burn her. And then what if you have to bring Terry in again? Texas has seen all your pitchers. Texas Tech has not seen all the Texas pitchers. And that's the thing. Like, I think for Texas Tech, tomorrow could be a high-scoring game, but I think Texas is comfortable They can win in a variety of ways. So that's why, again, to punt on a game one of a champ series, which is basically, and listen, maybe he keeps Nyjah in the game and they still lose, but I would have started Nyjah personally tonight. To me, I would have started her. And that way you give yourself more flexibility, because even if you lose tonight, you could bring her in relief tomorrow. If you start Terry, which would on paper could be the advantage, or you have her ready for game. I don't know. It's wild. But I don't think this series is over. I do think Texas Tech is capable. They've had their backs against the wall. They've won 4 elimination games. How do they do it, Leah? How do they bounce back here?
I think it's this is a cliche answer, but they just got to get out of their heads. They've been here before. They're elite softball players. They know how to win tough games against tough opponents, but we can't see a repeat of the first inning again. We cannot see those mental errors, those little mistakes that we're not used to Texas Tech making. And I think they just need to start off a little more consistent, which is crazy I'm saying because they literally had a first inning home run tonight. They just need to start a little more consistent and a little more confident. And then I think they'll be fine, but it's not going to be easy tomorrow at all. It is going to be really difficult. They're going to have to pull out all their stops. But yeah, like you said, I don't think they're completely out of it. It's just going to be really, really hard.
And let's remember, Texas is the visiting team, so they're going to get the first at bat tomorrow. So if Katie Stewart makes it 5 straight games with a home run and puts
Wrap it up
in the lead early, one, just give her the most outstanding player, have that wrapped up and waiting for her in the dugout. But 2, that adds increases the pressure on Texas Tech even more, because you're going to be down 1, 2, 3, nothing before you even get a chance to answer.
Yeah, and I also think Texas Tech needs to realize they don't all have to hit home runs. It seemed like they were chasing pitches tonight, and they were going for those big shots where they should just take a page out of Texas's book. They can play ball. They've got speedy girls. They really do. And they can figure out different ways to score. So they just at least need to put the ball in play tomorrow and hopefully get something going.
Right, and put some pressure on the Texas defense.
Yeah, because we didn't really see that tonight.
No, we did not. Now, Gutierrez is more of a ground ball pitcher, so maybe that's where Texas Tech makes some adjustments. I do agree with you. As nice as Maya Davis's solo home run was, I think you needed to get on base, cause some havoc there. To your point on there, we'll see. We'll see how this goes for Texas Tech. I do think they got to get off to a good start. And how much of this right now do you think is mental right now, Leah? How much is this mental versus physical?
Oh, I think this game tonight was probably like 90% mental. Truly. I think they came out with the right attitudes, but they just got, dug themselves a hole way too quickly, which you cannot do in the game of softball. It's a long game. It's a long game, and there's a lot of things that can happen and change. And I think they just almost seemed like they were a little intimidated, which I wasn't. It was not a. Well,
it's what's interesting. They have had a lot of emotional games here this postseason. I'm being really kind. Really kind.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on any of that.
Words there, sir.
But what's interesting, and somebody brought this up to me. There is no like story. There is no dislike or bloodline. Like there's no Texas plot line like there was with Tennessee and UCLA to some extent, and definitely with Florida. My goodness, and Tennessee for that matter. There is none of that. And so I actually don't disagree with you there, Leah. I do think this is the team Texas that beat us last year. And all the pressure on this series is on Texas Tech. Let's not make Texas's legacy is secured one way or the other. Because if they win this national title, they go back to back. They are one of the greatest teams of all time. Even if they lose this, they are still champions. They've won all the pressure, both of you, I don't know if you agree, is on Texas Tech. They made all these moves and all this. They didn't do it to finish second. To me, they were the only team in the tournament that it was a national title or bust. And I wonder, to your point, Leah, if that pressure is part of that psychological there.
Amazing point. 1000%, there is so much pressure on them, and not just to win the national championship. It's because of it's everything that they've done. But, and everyone's talking about it on social media too. And I have to admit, you did say something about, there's not a storyline here. Sometimes when there is a storyline, it is so much easier to play a little tough because you're playing for something. Yes, they're playing for a national championship, but there's a little extra like oomph behind it. And so the fact that there isn't like a transfer here, transfer there, this coach said this, da 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 da, I think it's like they almost need something else to fuel them, which shouldn't be the case at all. A national championship should be fuel enough, but sometimes people need a little bit of drama. I hate to say it, but
I don't disagree. No, I don't disagree with you. I think, again, I don't want to go into it, but again, I think in the Florida series, I think a lot of that was, I think Jerry and the staff is like, let's use this for fuel.
Yeah, it's something to prove.
That they're throwing at Mia Williams and all that stuff. Because he told me earlier in the year, this was a team. It wasn't like last year's team that grinded it out every game and were this team, maybe because sometimes, if you're overly talented or things come too easy, sometimes you think there's a switch there. And I think I think you're on the mark here. Now, again, your backs are against the wall now. So you got, here it is.
Right. And I'm wondering if, to your point too, Eric, if the ladies on the team are just kind of like, I would hope they wouldn't think this, but like, did I make the wrong choice? If they came to Texas Tech for a national championship, they have this elite squad that they've all transferred in. Did they make the wrong choice? That's something that they could be thinking of. That's an added pressure to them as they're trying to win a national championship. It's all these crazy things and speculation when at the end of the day, it should just be like, let's play some softball. But that's not the case anymore with any sport nowadays.
No, I think the biggest part about it is that you look at Texas. Texas was fine with hardly anybody mentioning them going into the season, going into the tournament, going into the World Series, going into the Champ Series. People were talking about every other thing but the defending national champions. And Mike White is like, hey, let's just handle our business. Let's do what we got to do. And we'll end up the same place we ended up last year as the last team standing, holding up the championship trophy. Mm-hmm. And Texas is 7 innings away from doing that exact same thing against the exact same team they did it against in 2025.
Yep.
All right, Leah, give me a player for Texas Tech that you think could change this tomorrow and the series. And then who are you looking at for Texas here to try to close the door here?
Is it lame of me to say Nyjah for Texas Tech? Like, is that just the easy answer? But like at the end of the day, it's what's going to happen. I don't know. I think it just that's the easy.
Well,
easy
I think to me it's Nyjah, it's Maya Davis. Those are two of the captains on this team. And to me, it's funny tonight. It's a pretty historic night in the NBA. Inside the NBA is part of the NBA coverage for the first time in the finals. And there's an infamous quote that Charles Barkley said that was very controversial, but I will kind of tweak it to this deal.
There are plenty of quotes Charles Barkley said.
It has nothing to do with the city of San Antonio, for the record.
I wasn't going to go there,
but he once said about Kevin Durant, I don't know if it was towards Kevin Durant or was referenced that it was partly towards, there are bus drivers and there's bus riders on each team. And Nyjah and Maya Davis are the bus drivers on that Texas Tech team. Mm-hmm. They have to lead the way because I don't think the others can. They're bus riders. That's why they're there to some extent. So to me, I agree. I think it's Nyjah and it's Maya Davis setting the tone offensively. Nyjah setting the tone in the circle. And again, they're capable of doing this. This is not they have the personnel to do it.
Yeah. Now for Texas, I think it can be something, a player that isn't the obvious choice because I think they are going to play a little bit more relaxed. And I think it's going to be hopefully a closer game. And so I think we're going to see some kind of like crazy player home run from like Leanne Good, Caden Henry. I think it's just going to be someone that, not a Katie Stewart or a Tegan Cavan. Just, something could happen because they're going to be playing a little bit more relaxed.
maybe a Reese Atwood. What could
Yeah.
be her final game? If she's down, or
I
at
would
least
love-
her
and
maybe
see-
last game or two. Wouldn't that be something?
That's a great storyline, and I couldn't be mad at that. I would absolutely love that.
It's pretty good. I mean, that to me would be something. I think she had a big hit last year in this series against Tech.
Oh, maybe
A little bit, little bit of a hit.
something a little crazy. I don't
Minor
know.
hit. Minor
I
hit.
do. I like the Henry pick too, because she's somebody too, like Maya Davis, could get on base.
Yep.
And cause
Speedy,
some
wreak
havoc.
havoc. Yep. Oh, great minds think alike.
This is why we used to enjoy a weekly show talking Big 12
I know.
softball with our good friend there.
I know.
This is what I mean. I know we of course we didn't talk this year when UCF beats Iowa in a wacky series. By the way, a wacky series. You went to that one, right?
I did.
How crazy was that series?
It was nutty. It was so insane. I mean, I was just happy to be in Ames. I absolutely love it and see Coach Pink. But yeah, it was crazy. Nutty. A
lot of offense in that series. Nonetheless, pretty crazy there. All right. What was your pick before this series? And what are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow night? I know you got some other plans, so you're going to be a little distracted.
Yeah. Wedding season.
Wedding season. You're
It
not
is.
now, for the record, it's your friends or you get
It's my friends. It's not me. Okay. Everyone would know if it was me.
I was gonna say you and a wedding on a softball World Series weekend
No,
would have been weird.
would never happen. Would never happen. But
Fair.
going into this, I was kind of excited with the World Series because it was like anyone's game. And it's funny to see Texas Tech and Texas a rematch. But I've been rooting for Texas Tech this whole time. And I know it's not everyone's favorite pick, but I love a Big 12 storyline. I'm going to root for a Big 12 team through and through. And I think, everything that they've been through and all of the transfers they've got out of the portal, I'm kind of like, man, I just hope they get it. Just for the feelings. I don't know. I think I would feel, I'm an empath, so I think I would just feel so bad if they did all that work.
What a
and
great
they
line.
didn't, and they didn't quite get there. And I know some people are gonna just think that's the craziest thing, but I think I would just feel bad for them. But not taking away from the way Texas has been playing, because it's been incredible to watch. And if they end up winning, I'd still be proud, and I think it would be really awesome. But yeah, I've got Texas Tech, hopefully.
What's been your overall take on the World Series?
This year has been my favorite year. From just a fan perspective, but also because I feel like for the last 4, 5, 6 years, we kind of knew who was going to win. And this year, going into it, any of the 8 teams could have easily come out in this series. So I think it's just been fun to kind of see all of the way softball has expanded. It's these young athletes don't just want to go to 1 or 2 schools anymore. They could really go to any school and make a huge difference, which is really exciting for the sport of softball.
It really is. Vic, you got a question for Lee overall big picture World Series here?
Just what the player or the team that you were most impressed by that didn't make it to the championship series?
Ooh, I was really, really rooting for Tennessee. I'm a huge Tennessee fan just by the way that they play. So I was kind of, disappointed in that sense. But can I say Arizona State too, since they didn't? Wow. I absolutely adored watching them. I always root for the underdog, and they were so close to making it to the World Series. That's someone that I would have been rooting for the whole time. It was just incredible to see kind of what they did, and I'm excited to kind of see how they play next year, but I know a lot of the players have entered the transfer portal, so that dang transfer portal. But we'll see. I don't know. Arizona State was fabulous.
All right, well, let's go. Let's turn back the clock. A little Big 12 talk here, just like the old days, Lee. I think you remember how this works. Victor can play the role of Philip as the moderator. But you mentioned Arizona State. That's a great point. Kenzie Brown, incredible. Within 1 win away of the World Series there against Texas. They demolished Texas A&M in the regionals. I'm going to be a little self-braggadocious here. Here's UCF Super Regionals there.
I know. They were my second choice.
Winning Tallahassee Regional, ran into the buzzsaw at UCLA and LA. Great weather, though, Lee. If I ever recommend LA weather. but a really great run. UCF and Arizona State super regionals. Oklahoma State got to the supers. I thought they were disappointing in how they got manhandled by Nebraska. But overall, I thought the Big 12 has had a successful year.
Yeah. I was really excited for them. The team I was kind of disappointed in was, and I hate being negative, you know this, but Arizona, man, that was really tough one to watch. And obviously there were so many positives, UCF, Arizona State. But yeah, Arizona, I think they kind of, they had every chance to win that regional, and it just obviously didn't go their way.
Got doubled up by Duke.
Yeah.
Stunt.
Man. Yeah. It was tough to watch, but then, you know, you get Arizona State and UCF, which was so exciting. I know you were pumped. So
it was incredible. 4 teams to the supers. You do get Tech to the World Series. You mentioned obviously Arizona win away from the supers. Kansas gets in finally. How many?
Yeah.
Think about what we talked about. Coach McFall's breaking through, getting to the regionals. For them, I believe 6 of the 7 Big 12 teams got to the regional final.
Yeah.
In their deal. So I think Big 12 was clearly the number 2 conference. Lapped the ACC. I mean, lapped them. Like Oklahoma State manhandled Stanford in their regional. Really, Duke, Arizona is the only thing the ACC has to hold their hat on.
Yeah.
I think it was a strong year for the Big 12. There will be some questions next year with the graduations of Ruby Malin at Oklahoma State. That will be a big question. I think to me, that's the biggest question in the Big 12 next year. How does Oklahoma State look there, Lee? I don't know if you have other Big 12 questions for next year, but to me, that jumps at the top.
Yeah, and also I say this every year because I just root for BYU, and I thought this was their year, and I was just disappointed once again. You know, I thought they had a harder schedule, and I was like, this could be the year that they make it, and it just obviously did not go their way. But you know me, I will be the biggest fan of any Big 12 team, and I will always root for them, even if they're, now that I'm out. So we'll see how it is next year.
Well, their Cyclones again.
I know.
Get off to a better start.
And Eric and Victor, they had the best offensive year. Like, I don't know if you saw their post on social of all of their accolades. And I see 2021, which I thought was like the most amazing year of Iowa State softball. That's when we had, Sammy Williams. And it was just, I believe, Sammy. Yeah. I'm like, I've been out of college for so long, but I mean, it was really disappointing how they came up so short, but it's always that beginning of the year. And that's been Iowa State's problem for as long as I can remember.
And they got snake bitten by the Big 12 going down to 8 teams. Cause I mean, they got shortchanged there. That's why I didn't like it. And I knew it would, who's to say if Iowa State's in the Big 12 tournament, their RPI was in the 50s. If they made a run, they could have snuck into the tournament. So I don't know if they'll go back to 10 or 11 teams, but I think that's hurting the conference from as far as getting as many at-larges as you can.
No, it made me lose sleep. It literally did, because what could have happened if they made the Big 12 tournament? It was really tough. And I think also them starting off against Baylor, I think was really tough, because that's a team that they – in the past have taken 1 to 2 games in that series for the last few years. And so for them to kind of start off when Baylor was playing really good softball and to get swept by them, I think that really hurt them.
And that was the difference. Yeah, that was the difference.
It was a huge difference, and it really hurt them. And then obviously they played well against the next couple of teams. I believe they had Houston, and I can't remember their third series, but yeah, those are the tough ones. And I think a couple of the other series where they usually snag one or two games was just didn't really happen this year, which is really tough because the Big 12 is so competitive. So
if they got to find some pitching there, they still got to, hopefully a good core of that offense will return. You look at Kansas, a core of their team will return. UCF is slated to return a lot, actually.
Which is really exciting.
A lot. And I think they're going to be aggressive in the portal, actually, to try to get over the hump. They want to get to Oklahoma City, not for just the Big 12 tournament. They want to get for the World Series.
Yep.
Arizona, I think there's questions there. Who knows what they're going to look like? You mentioned Arizona State. They're going to have a new look, but they'll be aggressive, I'm sure, in the portal. Tech will be Tech. But I think it'll be exciting. Oklahoma State, to me, is the most fascinating team, though, because obviously Ruby literally carried them as far as they could.
She did, but the way Oklahoma State operates, I wouldn't be surprised if they just went crazy in the portal. And he's got that portal down to a science. He always has since I can remember. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they came back and they were just as strong as this year.
I agree. He'll do that. They'll be aggressive. And look, Baylor's got a new assist staff with
I know.
now.
I know.
That's going to be different. That's going to look a little different. So that will be some of the storylines for next year, the Big 12. The biggest thing we got to do, Vic, make a note of this. All right, because we have been successful in getting people to places in the history of live and podcast. We got to get Leah Nelson out to the Big 12. Either Oklahoma City, either the Big 12 tournament or the World Series next year. No excuses, Leah.
No, I know.
We have to meet in person. We got to do this in person. We've talked about this for multiple years.
I know. Eric, how many years have we known each other now with these podcasts?
I feel like it's 3, but it feels
I think so too. Right. I feel like I know you. You've been my best friend forever, and yet it's only been through the screen, which is crazy.
Trust me. I checked a lot of boxes in my last 25 days through Tallahassee, Oklahoma. I checked a lot of boxes of people I got to meet in person for the first time. Ironically, Victor keeps coming up every time, which is kind of fascinating. Nonetheless, maybe he'll make an appearance.
Yes.
But he has as well. See, I say the 3 of us, we got to do this in Oklahoma City at some point next year. You pick the calendar. You pick the calendar, Leah. You could do Big 12 tournament. I could or the World Series, but we got to do this next year. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a Big 12 regular season. Once the schedule comes out, we can figure this out. But that's a goal.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
And I promise I will talk to you once UCF and Iowa State play each other. Okay.
We may not have that luxury next year. From what I've been told, we may not play each other. Remember,
I think that's good. I think that's good for our friendship.
I agree, because it got strained a couple years ago.
It did. It
got strained.
It was tough. It was tough.
It really did. But we powered through. We're better for it.
Yep, we are. It made us stronger.
That's right. That is Leah Nelson, everybody. The best. I tell everybody where they can find you, because you're busy. You're going to get busier. I know, obviously, softball is right up your alley, but you do a lot of sports and a lot of great content for Iowa State athletics.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter Leah CJ21. I love helping out with Cyclone Fanatic, the women's basketball team over at Iowa State, which we'll have a new look next year too. So
I was gonna say, I was gonna touch that subject.
Yeah, we could have a whole 5-hour episode just on that, but I'm excited.
I'll defer to Vic. He calls women's basketball on his spare time.
It's crazy, and I mean, don't even get me started about men's basketball, football. We're gonna see a lot of new stuff over at Iowa State, but I'm a positive person, so I'm excited to see what this next year brings.
All right, well, Leah, I will be watching you, following you on that. We'll be texting, but hey, listen, thanks for doing this. Like I said, we'll definitely stay in touch. Enjoy your weddings that you will be attending.
Thank you. I have 8 of them this year.
8? That's a lot. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh my, 8?
Yep, 8. And some of my friends have 13, so.
What do you like? Do you just keep certain dresses ready
There's
to go?
There's a rotation of dresses and shoes.
Yep.
Yeah. How
there's a rotation. Yeah, okay. There's a rotation, and just maybe not post on Instagram or something one of your dresses, because then no one will ever know if you wore the same thing, I'm an outfit repeater. It's like a softball uniform.
I'm a superstitious guy. If it's working, I'm going to wear the same stuff. If that means I got to go to, you have a washer for a reason and a dryer.
Yep. You could be like Leanne Good, who's worn the same visor the whole year.
That's true. She really has.
Yeah, and you can tell.
Yes. And you know what? Nobody's going to tell her otherwise.
No, it's working for her.
All right. Well, enjoy the 8 weddings. Wow, that's wild.
Thank you, guys.
Buddy. We'll be in touch. Thank you. Leah Nelson, everybody.
Thank you.
8 weddings?
That's a record. See, I've
hard enough time getting ready for a wedding. 8?
Well, I'm a jerk. I turned down a lot of wedding invites. So hey, we got to make this happen, Vic. We got to get Leah out to OKC.
We'll figure something out.
All right.
We'll figure something out.
We're going to play some of the Texas Tech presser here momentarily here for Jerry Glasgow here. I know he spoke while we were talking, but quite frankly, I enjoyed talking to Leah. So that was a lot of fun, to say the least. So we'll see what happens there. Again, Texas winning 7-3 over Texas Tech in game 1 of the Champ Series. to go up 1-0. Who do you believe it'll be Gutierrez game 2 tomorrow? Vic?
Yes, I do.
I agree. And then Nyjah for Tech.
Yes. Yes, I believe that will be the case.
What do you think? What happens here?
It's important. Again, as I referenced, it's important that Texas, as a visiting team, puts that pressure on Texas Tech, jumping on them early in the first 2 innings. If they can get a 2-0, 3-0 lead, you get Gutierrez more rope. And the longer the game goes, it gives a higher probability of Tegan Gavon coming in, shutting the door, and winning a second straight national championship.
Any chance Mike says, screw it, I'm just going Gavon, let's go for the throat? 10%?
Based on Mike White's history, I'd say 5% that he starts Tegan.
Yeah.
Now if they get a lead and it's in the 5th inning, but remember, as you referenced, Gutierrez went 6 2/3
and was really good. Yeah.
And that was really the big reason why Gavon was as fresh as she was.
Yes.
To close that game and then double up Tennessee.
And she's pitched in this stage, obviously. No, I agree. You take advantage of having a game lead. You start Gutierrez, see what happens. And if you need Tegan late, you have her there. And if not, she's ready to go for game 3, just like last year. I 100% agree. I think Texas, I do expect a little higher score. I mean, this was a pretty decent scoring game, 7-3, but I do expect this to be I will be very curious how Texas Tech comes out early against Gutierrez. How long, I agree with it. They got to get off to a good start and get some of that swagger back and play better, clean defensively. But
yes,
we'll see.
100% agree.
Game 2, 8:00. Anything else stood out to you from the broadcast? I don't know. Did you watch the traditional broadcast? Did you watch
I watched the traditional broadcast tonight. I'll watch the alternate broadcast tomorrow. By the way, tonight they had Michael Crabtree and Laura Rutledge as part of the alternate broadcast.
Laura Rutledge, yeah, it's good to have her back in a softball setting. People don't remember this. The only other time this year was my second year at the World Series. The only other time I went was 2018 when she was the sideline reporter at the World Series with Amanda Scarborough and Adam Amin. Yeah, I think Rutledge and Amin have done well for themselves.
They've done all right. They've done all right.
Yeah. So that was good to see. I saw that a little bit, and I think they've sort of started to figure out that alternate broadcast deal there. And again, Shipman and Lori, obviously they worked the Big 12 championship game, so I've gotten to talk to both of them. I think them working together as often as they do, I think helps that. And then you throw in Amanda in there, and I think you've got a good recipe there.
And then Courtney Lyle, the point guard, kind of putting everybody in place.
You got Alyssa Lang hosting SEC Now from the Oklahoma City, who will be our guest on this Monday's podcast, one of a few guests.
And by the way,
on In the Circle,
if you subscribe to In the Circle on our YouTube channel, you will get early access to the Alyssa Lang interview tomorrow, along with the interview Eric did with Amanda Scarborough and Kevin Brown that aired on Monday's episode.
That's good to hear. I'd see. That's why I had my headset. I was listening closely there. We'll see how that goes. We also are working on some other guests there while Vic is getting what are you working on the post game here?
Yeah. I have the I do have we're gonna air some of the Texas Tech post game press conference with Jerry Glasgow. This is available on the NCAA YouTube channel. So we were taking it.
Shout out to the NCAA, doing a great job there from that standpoint. Technology, Matt Holmes and company. Live, you can watch every post game live on their YouTube. We prefer you watch us first, then watch them. They'll archive it, but here's a little snippet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pitches, and you got to tip your hat to Tegan on her effort tonight. She was outstanding.
Okay, we go to the left side, third row, David. David Collier, KMAC News in Lubbock. Coach, you mentioned it in your opening statement, but when you started to see those miscues, misplays by your players, what was going through your head? Because, I mean, you mentioned it. They seemed like errors, if anything, mental errors.
Yeah, we've had games like that throughout the year. If you go back to the Arizona game, there's several games like that throughout the year where it seemed like we aren't focused on defense and our positioning's out. And it's not necessarily the errors as much as just not being in the right place at the right time and getting caught off. You know, we were shallow in left field, and that was a 3-hole. You know, she was a 3-hole. Altmaier was a 3-hole for Arizona last year, and we were playing her like she was a weak slapper. So I don't know exactly what happened. I got to look at the film there. I thought it might have even been last night. We went 6-3 when we should have went 6-4, and we did again tonight. So there's some things like that we got to clean up at this level, because when you play a great team like Texas with the talent they've got, and you don't have room to make misplays or to make have lapses on defense.
Okay, we'll stay on the left side, second row, Nathan.
Nathan Geese, Lubbock Avalanche Journal. You mentioned the momentum just kind of got away from you there early on. How important was it, one, for Sam to kind of stem the tide a little bit and keep you in it, but just to not let the game get out of hand, to get a little bit of something going into the next one?
Yeah, it was critical. I mean, at that point, once it was 5-1, we went 3 innings at 5-1. I think I put her in the bottom of the third, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been the fourth. But anyway, she did what she was put in there to do. She held the game, kept it close, kept it tight, give us a chance to get back in the game. We just didn't do it. And tip your hat to Tegan. And then I thought they made some good plays. Maya hit a ball hard to left field. There was a couple other balls that we hit, and, you know, they held Jackie to first on that ball off the wall. Someone told me she fell down. I didn't see that. I couldn't tell why she didn't get second, but maybe she fell down on that. But anyway, they made some good defensive efforts, and they're a really good team.
Okay, we'll stay on the left side in the front row.
Molly Cashin, The Athletic. Coach, you guys have played well with your backs against the wall so far here in Oklahoma City, but in recent Women's College World Series history, the team that's won Game 1 has statistically gone on to win 80% of the time. How do you think you guys can buck that trend?
What's the percent? 80. I think it's good. You know, I mean, we have no choice. We've not lost 2 games in a row the whole year. So we got to hang our hat on that. We got to come back out tomorrow to fight. And then if we get momentum, if we can get survive tomorrow night's game, you've got momentum going to Game 3, and our kids will feel a lot different after they win a game than they do right now. So we just got to get up off the floor, and that's the hardest part. I think we've got a really talented team. I think we can play as well or better than any team in the country when we play well, and we've got to refocus, readjust, and get momentum in our dugout and get tomorrow's game. That's all that matters is tomorrow's game. But if we do get that and we live to see another day, it'll be a fun Game 3.
All right. That was a portion of Jerry Glasgow postgame. Actually, everything was pretty accurate there, Vic. I mean, that's defense, certainly. We talked about that. Leah brought it up. Credit to Leah, who brought it up, the defensive miscues for Texas Tech. Had them on their heels the whole time. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Should be interesting there with Texas and Texas Tech Game 2. We will be on after the game tomorrow, either talking about a Texas repeat or a Game 3 tomorrow night. We'll have that for you. And Vic will mention, are you going to mention the guest, or you want them to make the wait till tomorrow?
We'll make them wait till tomorrow.
Fair enough. I want to give a shout out before we go here, Vic, to a mutual friend of ours that we know pretty well, and that is to Aaron Kimberger and St. Leo.
Yeah.
Who won the D2 National Championship, locked it up in 2 games today up in Chattanooga. They beat McKendree, dominating season for St. Leo. Vic, I'll defer to you here. They were mostly number 1 most of the year was St. Leo, and boy, they rolled through the postseason. Great I'm happy for Aaron Kimberger, who, for those that don't know, have been through a lot with cancer and her health. and she's an alum at St. Leo. And boy, Vic, they were incredible. And they capped it off for a national championship for the Sunshine State Conference.
Yeah, another championship for the league. And at the Tampa, who came close last year to bring home another national championship, it was St. Leo to do the job this year. And we've had Coach Kimberger on our podcast many occasions prior to us joining D1 softball. So anytime we see previous guests of the podcast achieve the ultimate goal, we want to celebrate them. So we want to take some time out to celebrate Coach Kimberger and St. Leo for bringing home another national championship to the Conference of Champions and the Sunshine State Conference on the Division II side.
When was the last national championship for the Sunshine State Conference prior to this? Do you know?
In softball?
Yeah.
90, I think it was 98 with Chris Bellotto and Florida Southern. They've sent teams to the national tournament multiple years, but they haven't come through. So congratulations to them.
Late 90s. That's a long time, Vic. Did you call that back then in the day?
No. I was not involved in the game back then.
No, that's awesome. That's a good group of people there. So I was watching that a little bit today and yesterday, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Reminder, a lot of good softball out there. We'll try tomorrow night, Vic. We'll try to acknowledge other national champions in the other conference. Vic, you're working on that, so we'll do that tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of single out St. Leo and Kimberger, which has been a tremendous human story. It's been cool here on the local. Even though we're in Orlando, we've seen a lot of features on her through some of the local news, and certainly in the Tampa area when I spent some time in Tampa a few weeks back. So it's a story that is picked up and well deserved. And man, they were dominant. They were. McKendree had no chance on that one there. So that's the story there. Keep it on D1 softball. In fact, if you go to D1 softball on social media right now, you can catch Jenna Becerra's exclusive with one Katie Stewart. I think she's pretty good player, don't you think?
Yeah, I think she hit another home run tonight.
She might hit one during this game for this broadcast at the rate she's going. So check out Jenna Becerra's one-on-one with Katie Stewart. Jenna Becerra's had a player from each winning side at every World Series game. She's in Oklahoma City as well as her great staff out there. So keep it on D1 softball for all the latest there. Justin McLeod, there's a lot of transactions going on. New head coach at Illinois, Jenna Hall, coming from Ohio. She's an Illinois alum. No surprise there, Vic, is the new head coach at Illinois taking over there. She did a heck of a job at Ohio. She's known for her offense. We'll see how that goes in Illinois. And then, we mentioned D2, Vic. Minnesota dug into the D2 pipeline with a national champion head coach of their own that you know very well.
Melstead from Augustana is the new Minnesota Golden Gopher head coach, longtime head coach, one of the winningest head coaches in the Division II level, making a jump to the Division I side and joining the Big Ten. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, at some point we will have Coach Melstead on the podcast to ask her the question, why now?
That's a big story, right? D2?
Yes, huge story.
A lot of stuff going on. So we'll keep it here on the YouTube channel. You heard Vic there. Follow, subscribe there, the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast feed as well. Check out D1 softball for all the latest in college softball. So that'll do it. Thanks to Leah Nelson for joining us on the live extravaganza. We'll have another guest for game 2. Vic and I will be back. Reasonable hours, hopefully. And we'll talk game 2 of the Champ Series between Texas and Texas Tech. Until then, folks, for Vic, I'm Eric. We say good night. Not from the World Series, but remote, close enough. Should be fun. We'll talk to you after game 2 of the Champ Series.
Top podcast is out. Good night, Cam.